All right. So questions here. All right, let us start. So today is November 29th session. We have 4 things to talk about. And I will start with resharing the screen. I forgot to share it correctly. So I'm sharing it again. And I am clicking on share with the sound. And that is because the theme of today will be we are living in the magical world, guys. And in this world, the more magic that you do, the better. Okay. So Sam Altman, the CEO of ChatGPT, if you want to call it this way, or OpenAI, if you want to call it this way, he had a little interview. I'll show you just the beginning. Okay. So go here.
We said from the very beginning we were going to go after AGI at a time when in the field you weren't allowed to say that because that just seemed impossible.
And so on. So I'm not saying anything negative about that. That is so on. But I have to listen to all of that. So I did. But the real valuable thought was this, that he is amazed at the amount of creativity and what people are doing with AI. And that is in the world of small startups. That is who can really use it. Big companies, and he mentions Google, he mentions other, they are on a 3-month plan. They are executing a strategy. All of that doesn't agree with the small startup mentality. And what people are talking about is when will we have a one company, which is a billion-dollar company, run completely by one individual with the help of AI? Similar examples already happened, and the secret is the more AI you use, just stop yourself from doing anything yourself. But instead, you are the general of an army, and the army is very powerful with your credit card, of course, and use AI to do anything of the task. That's the main theme. That's what I see today. So let me share something. And those things that I will show you, they are they are my competitive advantage, and nevertheless I'm giving it all away just because it's fun. The people, as you remember, compose free courses, so let's do that. By the way, if you want to click here and be able to use all these links, I'm giving you that. I'm giving you that on the chat, and that is our webinar with all the story. So for the people who are new here, all the story of what happened so far and every session that we ran, and there were quite a few of these sessions, more than 2 years by now. So you can use these links. I leave them as links. You can get them here. And the first thing is right there. People often ask me, what should I do? What should I learn? The answer is right here on that link. So I'm opening that link, and that's what we covered. We looked at all these courses. Now, if you go down, you will see that the number is 55, but line 73. So I need to arrange it and clean it up. But what you have here is, first of all, the title. What is the course about? Then, who is the author, or who is the company that promotes it? You see, it's usually under Andrew Ng. It's usually Coursera or Deep Learning AI. But the authors are different. What they promote is different. And that is the link to the course. I think it is all free. Maybe you need the subscription for Coursera, but it's not a big expense. Now, to the right here, you see the same in my repository, which is more or less guaranteed to run. So if you look at this Powered Games, okay, let's look in there. And you will see these are the labs. Now here, I don't think I have the instructions, but all others, because it's very, very new, all others, I do have the instructions. let's look at some of those things, database agents, okay? So there will be the same style instructions, how to run the very first time and how to run the second and other times. Let me explain. So if you click here, you see it tells you exactly what to do. Navigate to this directory, do this and this and that. In other words, set up the environment. If you need special keys, then it will tell you right here. It will tell you, yeah, you need keys. Now, that's when you run the first time. When you run the second time, it just starts. And I'm cleaning that up. It will be even easier. So that's what you get, right? Let me close that. That is the very precious list. Okay, I've shown it. That's nothing new. What is new is that I'm now composing the course, and I will show you exactly how I compose this course. Okay. Let's say I have a course, and I will tell you exactly which course. So number one, I need to decide which of these open courses will be taught by me. That's because I know what the customer wants, and that's because I know what the courses are. So you need to match. Once you match that, you go to one of these courses, and let's go to one of these. Let's do it. I have it on my computer. I could download it from the repository. Why don't I do that? More and more secrets revealed. Okay, so let's say prompt engineering. Go to this, and that's a repository right here. And then my next step is, well, I verify that it works. And then I want a bunch of slides to go with that. People are used to slides. Slides are convenient. They don't tell you everything. They should be more of a reminders for you as a trainer to tell people what to do. But you open that, okay, and that looks more or less like code. So my next step is download that. Right here, I downloaded that. Right here, here are my downloads. And that, you cannot just open it. Double click will not work. You go to ChatGPT. You go to ChatGPT. And by the way, they bought a new domain called chat.com. So that's where you go and join one of the previous conversations where he knows what I want. If I upload a lab, it knows what to do. So let me upload the lab. There are two ways to do it. Either you drag it into this area, or you open this attach files and you go to my downloads. Same thing. So whatever I do, I upload that. Now you also give the instruction. Right now I haven't given the instruction, so I will just rely on the previous instruction. And previous instruction was that. Give me an outline and well, I can show you what the instructions were. It's here. I'm saying I want slides. I'm going to convert these slides to PowerPoint later on. That's not your business. I want that style of slides, and that's enough for me. Okay. Now, that was my instruction. Let's see if it will get it. Okay, unable. That's not a problem. I need to download it in a different form. So if I go back to this lab, then I don't think you can easily download it. But if you go into that same place on your local computer, let's say we'll go right there. And let's say we go to the same And then there is a how to run. And then all you need to do is do that one line. That prepares the environment and that runs it. So I am running that course, but I am starting with the existing lab, which I even didn't invent. I took it from somewhere else. Now I am running Jupyter. That opens the lab on my computer, same lab, but on my computer. And I think I did the, let's do the second one. It could even work, but I'm not going to do it right now. What I want is printed for me. There you are. Okay, so looks good enough. It couldn't figure out the notebook. Yesterday it did. Sometimes I have more luck with that, sometimes less. Now, this time I have less luck. So I print that lab and I go to ChatGPT here and I'm uploading that one, the printed PDF. Can you get that? Isn't that wonderful? Yes, it did that in exactly the format that I want. Not only that, today it behaves better than before. And it gives the complete outline for me. Then all I do is copy it into my slides where I prepare the slides. And the end result looks like that. These are the slides. That's what I generated by my script. And that's what it looks as a finished product. There you are. Now, I'm a slowpoke. That means that it usually takes me about 1 hour to prepare 3 slides. You will ask, why so long? Well, you need to read, listen, and you need to understand. Then you need to put it in the right words. Well, whatever you do, and then I need to add a picture. I haven't done it, but I need to add some pictures. People love pictures. They want to see something. All right. So the end result is that I took an existing lab, which I took maybe from Andrew Ng course. Then I gave it to the ChatGPT. Sometimes ChatGPT is nice and it understands notebooks, Python notebooks. Sometimes it just doesn't get it, and then you can print it as I just did, and then it will understand it and give you the slides. This is the moment, right? You realize now what I'm doing. And so, give it away. I took an open source course. I took an open course. I copy pasted the lab because there is nothing wrong doing that. In fact, I think we're going into the life where knowledge is very available. Knowledge is free. And it's, if they pay me for explaining every detail and being with them and having fun and doing a workshop. But I took the lab and verified that it works. Well, I didn't show you how I verified that it works, but we'll skip it. It's working. And then I said, well, where are my slides? Okay, ChatGPT, give me the slides. There are the slides. And after that, I'm ready for the course. So the course is to go next week, December 9, and I'm moving quite happily. It's fun. It's not a torture like it used to be. Writing the labs and preparing the labs. Well, sometimes you do have to write the labs. But in that case, AI is the first course that, first of all, I am creating what's really needed by people. That is magic. The way I'm going to present it, and let me stop sharing and just tell it to you. I'll tell them that finally we're in the age where you don't have to suffer the code. You know, they say that there was a guy who invented the term debugging. You all, of course, heard the term debugging. That means finding a bug in the code. But, and the bug, of course, is a mistake. So that is what it is today. But that guy who was the first one to debug really found a bug in the computer. That was the first error that the computer was making. There was a bug, and that's how the term became debugging. All right. And then he says the thing that I need. He said, and then I realized that all of my life I'm going to spend debugging code. Well, AI takes it away. Because if you have any error, you copy paste it into ChatGPT and it gives you the instruction on what to do. So let us say your lab doesn't work. Okay, so here my lab does work. I'll show you, I wanted to show how it works, and there you are. Let's look. Anyway, I wanted to show you what it does. And even though we saw that, but it never stops amazing me. I'm connecting to the database. In this case, the database is represented by a spreadsheet, by CSV, comma-separated value files. But I'm connecting with an AI agent, which is very smart. So now I'm saying, take the datasheet, which is the comma-separated values, and load it into my Python notebook, which is a representation of a spreadsheet in a notebook. And then ask your questions, but you don't have to do SQL anymore. And you just tell it, that's what I want to know. You tell it, first set the pandas display option to show all the columns, and then always giving, before giving the final answer, try another method. If it doesn't work, retry. Do not make up answers. That's very important. Hallucination. I'm saying, please don't hallucinate. Don't make up answers based on prior knowledge. Only use the data you have in the spreadsheet. Wow, that's a new wonderful way to talk, and that will extend itself a little bit further. Right now, it's just digesting all that I asked and all the data, and it started. Now I'm saying, invoke your thought. It keeps thinking, it keeps telling you what it saw. It says, I decided to do this, and I decided to do that. You can talk to it again, and you can say, no, that's a bad decision, do something else. So you do have to be a general who commands your army. But after that, the army reports what it did and what the results were. And when it stops showing that star, that is when it finished calculation. So what is very important is that AI does it for you. Keeps thinking, says, I'm done. That's the answer to your question. I cannot do this, but I can do something else. All right. What if I make a mistake? What if I take a closing parenthesis away and run it again? It immediately gives me that you made a mistake. So what I do is copy that whole cell that created the mistake. I copy it to a separate place just because it's more convenient this way. So I have a little place where I prepare the question and I'm saying, that was my code. Okay? And I don't have to say it was my code. It gets it. Then I'm giving the error. Here's the error. Okay. Even though really if I'm a programmer, I could understand that maybe, but I would prefer, where was my editor? To give it like that. No, I need the error. Just that, copy. Well, I'm not sure what it will do. So select and copy. Now that error goes here. Now I take the whole thing and put it into ChatGPT. It should tell me you made a mistake in that line. And here's the code. Okay, so it says I got it. The error is in the code snippet because of a missing clause in parentheses. What you should do then is copy this code and put it back. And you see, I know really what the problem was. Clause in parentheses is in. Well, what's the lesson? The lesson is that yes, AI can do it for you. You have to direct, again, beaten analogy, an army, but it does all the work for you. So going back, that is what we see. You can take the lab, you can fix any mistakes. Here, I don't think I'm looking at the right thing. The right thing was here. No, that's ChatGPT talking to me about this. That is the right thing. So it says, just close this parenthesis or use my code and run it again, and then it runs. Don't forget to save that lab. Well, the end result is that now you can talk to your data. You don't have to know, but it's better if you do SQL, and it will choose this strategy, which then you can change by changing the way you talk to it. So there are two ways now. One way is right here in the notebook. Another way is here in the ChatGPT. It will also prepare the slides for you. All you have to do is come to the meeting, understand what you are saying, and it is good. All right, I think that's the lesson. We will come back to that, but that is the lesson. Okay, and I can share the screen again. Yes, thank you. But I stopped sharing for a while so that, okay. Now let's go back to your comments. Chad and Charles was saying debugging was coined by Grace Hopper. Mother Cobble found a moth in the circuit. So it was Grace Hopper, and that was who said that she realized that she is going to debug the rest of her life. Not anymore, guys. It's AI now that's debugging for you. You still have to understand it. It's not complete magic, and my personal opinion that it will never be. So I'm going with the theory that no, ChatGPT or other AI will not kill us first, but we will be kumbaya. We will cooperate. That is one possible opinion. That's not the only opinion, but it is expressed by Andrew Ng as such. He says, it's not that the AI will replace programmers. It's that the programmers who are using AI will replace those who are not using AI. That's where it is right now. All right. And that is the basic idea, but we'll come back to that. So we're looking at our plan. We have planned what we want to do. And first of all, I told you that Sam Altman was excited about small startups, that they are going faster. He might be prejudiced because he is the one who is running a company that's producing AI and is consumed by the startups. So the big companies are slow to take it up. And that's what I see also. I see it in training that yes, there are lots of courses and published courses and recorded courses, but that's not enough. There were about 2 years it took the industry to understand that that's not enough. So I see a stream of new course requests, and they are all about AI. And I'm going to teach guys, that's a new life because of what I just said about the programmers with AI replacing those without AI. So I'm going to teach you how to be exactly that. the programmer with AI, and I showed you how I myself write this course. That I'm not going to show them. Maybe not, because maybe they will feel like, why do I need to learn? Okay, now I'm making progress. I already prepared 2 slide decks, and I need 5 because it's a 5-day course. And it is basically a trend because that AI, you can delegate a lot of things to it. So there is an interesting trend that is becoming more and more helpful. And last time I mentioned this, if you're a general, you need to be able to play the role of infantry too. You know, like you read about ancient books and Chinese fighting, the general was also the best fighter. Well, that helps. But the AI also helps in this way. It now explains what it does and why it does it. I just showed you that how it explains it, but I have a better example. That better example is found in my virtual machine. So we have a project. Project is about prediction of weather with the purpose of trading. That's a project. The guy who comes to us is an extremely intelligent guy who is a great trader, so he has great ideas. He doesn't know SQL and he doesn't know that part of the technology too deep. I don't know what he knows. So I give him a machine right here, give him a virtual machine. And when I do it, I may kick him out, right? Yeah, so he was probably doing something. And I probably did kick him out. But here he is running an AI that talks to his database and that as a result, can ask more and more questions without knowledge, without knowing SQL. He talks his language. He says, that's a good thing to try. Let's do the correlation. That's the kind of things he does. Okay, I'm closing that, apologizing to him for doing that. But the basic idea, again, is using AI for everything you do and doing the connections, involving more and more people. And that is a trend exhibited in this link. That is a company called DeepSeek, right here. And that DeepSeek doesn't just do what you want, but it is also explaining every step. Well, nothing very new. I just showed you how the database agent can explain every step and analyze your data. And it can backtrack and can change the approach. Well, that's a more complete model. Now, that model I'm not running. That is done by Chinese company, and I think it's Baidu. But it's another company that's competing with ChatGPT, and that is adding one important thing. Now, if we can go to the platform, that's how we go to the platform. But going back, we're not going to go to the platform just yet, but it explains how it works. Well, the important thing is that they will explain what you do. Okay, that's the trend. That's all I wanted to show about the new, that thing. So what I showed you is that we are, if you use another analogy, that AI is electricity, new electricity, and it changes everything, then we're not makers of electrical power generation. No, we're not. That's very hard, takes special education, and that's Facebook, OpenAI, Google, and we see others. But we are the world that is making electrical toys now. Now that you have supply of electricity, either as batteries or as plug it in, it's fun just beginning, and we're creating new and new toys, and that is what the trend is. So we are in that land where some Altman sees most of the progress is applying AI. Don't make any more AI. What we were teaching, by the way, also kind of creating the first steps. What I'm trying to do is change that with our audience completely, because it's a pivot all the way 180 degrees or 90, but it is a definitely a change. All right. What are the other news? I told you the DeepSeek that also explains, and I'm sure now everybody will follow because the idea is catching up. And finally, Anthropic and Amazon. What do I want to tell about them? Well, those guys are a partnership. We know that, but they have also, okay, $4 billion change hands. But in addition, Anthropic is promising one thing. Before it used Google for its platform, Amazon bought them for $4 billion, and that is not the majority stakeholder anyway. So what else can we do? Okay, Anthropic goes over to Amazon like this. And it uses Amazon infrastructure, but what it is doing, it's using their new chips. That's the story. So how is new chip called? I think it's called Trainium. Or maybe it's called whatever. GPU. No. GPU is for gaming. CPU. All right. Now, that's the story, and that will be the last story for today that I will tell you that it all started with Google. Definitely, they were thought of, and they were the thought leader. Now, that's my private opinion. I may be wrong on anything, but Google was the acknowledged engineering lead. What happened later, we're not talking about, but they invented a CPU. That was a TensorFlow processing unit. So it all started with the CPU, Central Processing Unit, and Grace Hopper. The next step was GPU, which was Gaming Processing Unit. Really, it is a different name, but GPU was about 5 times faster for machine learning. Google was the first one to open source TensorFlow library, and the whole world went with TensorFlow. It was 2015. Then Google took another step. They created a special computer that was running TensorFlow. So that was a first AI computer. And they hope that the whole world will come to them and run on their CPU. Show us CPU computer. No, not CPB, CPU. Well, show us the pictures. These are nice pictures. No. What? No TW. I'm sorry about that. CPU, but mistakes make it more fun. That is the CPU computer, Tensor Processing Unit, and that's what it looks like in real life. Okay. That, of course, is impressive. The problem was that Facebook created a different library and it didn't quite go this way. So that was the first real machine learning chip. What now happens is that Amazon steals the name. TPU is not the trademark, and they created the Trainium. It's another chip, which is obviously for training, and call it CPU. So it's the same CPU as what Google was using, but it's also called CPU of the Trainium, and that's what Anthropic is going to do. Now, why is that important to us? It seems like big deal, big guys are fighting. Well, that is because you end up using that. You use Amazon, that's what I do in many courses, and one of them I can even show to you, where I'm forced to use Amazon. Here it is. So let's go to GitHub. And over there, building AI course. That's the one I'm building. And where we go is Agentic on Bedrock. Well, what is Bedrock? Bedrock is the name, the branding name for Microsoft, for Azure, for too many, for AWS, for AWS. So it is that. And the amazing thing, that's the last 11-hour course. The amazing thing that it does, it figures out what you want. Okay, that is somewhere around, let's say 5 maybe. And what you do here is you connect to AI, and then you're saying, you should do everything yourself. In that lesson, for example, we have a database of asking and answering technical questions. Okay, no big deal, you connect to that. But now you include the chat with the help of AI, and with the help of AI, you conduct intelligent conversation. Not only that, you take its advice on how to handle that client and what to do with the client. That's one example that I can show, and there are more, and that all comes to me as working on Amazon Bedrock. So I have to use that and nothing else. It would be a lot of work to translate it into another cloud. That's why I'm using the ready-made lemma. That's what I wanted to show. In the end, we go here and repeat our conclusions. Is that we are in the world of magic that that does a lot of things for us. We work together. Andrew Ng just put out another course with the same idea. It's Python AI, he calls it. Well, the idea is that there is the student, there is a teacher, there is AI. They are equally important, have equal rights, and each one has something that the other one doesn't. So if I ask you now this question in the text, okay, so in the text, I'm asking you, you have teacher, student, and AI. What does each one have and the other two know? Okay, and I'll give you a minute to think what is special about that. So let us start with AI. What are the praises of AI compared to all others? So I would say this, I'm not afraid of previous work, right? I showed you, you give it a big notebook and it just works on that. Never gets tired. However, that I say with a grain of salt, because in my experience, it does get tired. In the evening, for example, it couldn't read my notebooks, and in the morning it could. That's what happened to me. Then it suddenly changed its style and format. So it's not perfect, but what is good about it, it speaks any language and has the breadth of knowledge. It speaks any language, and that's including programming language, and has the breadth of knowledge. That's what's good about AI. Well, now let's talk about the student. So the student is the one who really needs the result. Really needs to acquire knowledge, I would say. Yeah, the thing is he really knows the vertical. For example, in my project about weather trading, the weather trader is my student and the teacher. He has the high level view. He's kind of the general. He cannot spell the word view right now, but now he spelled it, but ChatGPT could help. That's what he has, and the understanding. So understanding is something that Sam Altman hopes will be in the area of AI, but we are not sure. For example, I use ChatGPT to study philosophy with my friend, and we notice limitations. He is a great dictionary, but doesn't exactly understand the philosophical concept. He is not human, he is not changed. Let's say I study, what's the name of the book? Proverbs of King Solomon. Okay, and if they say, no, it's not really worth doing that, he might drop it. The computer, human might drop it because he is convinced. Computer would not do that. All right. So we are the teacher, and we still have the high level view. But going back to practical things, not so philosophical, it's a great time, and that's what everybody says. So I'm repeating, great time to be around, great time to do that kind of work, because coding, well, let ChatGPT do it. Debugging, let him do it. Vertical, let the student do it. And the teacher, well, let him conduct the flow. That is all. That's what I wanted to tell you today. So I stop sharing and I will ask questions. I will ask 4 questions. Okay. And I will be silent for a minute so that you can really have the time to ask something. Okay, so James, you want that document with the URL. Now, which document? First of all, that is the link to the whole thing. Now I'll share back and I'll show you what am I showing. So first of all, that is the start document. All the links come from there. Okay, so I'm giving you that link again. Okay, that link again, and I hope that is enough, because here you have the learning path, and only for 1 second I hesitated and closed it, but it's much more fun telling everybody what you know, because other people instinctively tell you what they know, so that helps. All right, thank you very much. And I wish you lots of fun, great weekend, and a great year to come. Thank you and be well.